There is something deeply satisfying about stripping paint from old doors. In this video, I'll share a step-by-step guide to refinishing doors in your home. So whether you want to learn how to refinish old doors, or you simply enjoy watching a dramatic transformation, I hope you enjoy this video. My name is Barry, and on this channel, I restore and refinish vintage and antique furniture. When the opportunity came up for me to refinish these doors for a friend, I decided to share the process. As you remove the doors, hinges, and other hardware, it's important to take photos along the way. Refinishing doors may take several days or even weeks, and it's easy to forget how everything was assembled. It's also important to inspect each door, noting areas where there might be damage. This will help prevent further damage during the refinishing process. In this case, there were a few nails to remove. You could patch the holes with a wood filler, or just leave them to preserve some of the character. I use these thick nitrile gloves available at Harbor Freight, and the best paint remover that I have found is this Clean Strip Premium Stripper. In most stores, one quart may cost close to $20, but I'm still able to find it for around $12 at Walmart. I'll apply this generously with a disposable brush and let the premium stripper sit for about 30 minutes. This can dry quickly and be ineffective in warmer climates or in direct sunlight, so you may consider covering this with plastic wrap. You can use a metal scraper or a plastic spatula to remove the paint. Just be sure to use caution to eliminate the risk of scratching or gouging the wood beneath. These old doors belong to a friend of mine, and we worked at the hospital together for many years. The home he and his wife purchased several years ago was built in 1935. We are refinishing 3 doors, and although uncertain, we believe at least 2 of the oak doors may be original to the house. In this area, the best method for disposing this chemical waste is to collect it in old paint cans and drop it off at the local waste site. Throughout this process, I'll test several layers of the paint for lead. These lead tests are available online, and I'll list these and the other products in this video in the video description. Although working with chemicals is obviously not recommended for children, his son was here one day for just a brief moment and had the chance to scrape one small section of this door, hopefully giving him a memory he may one day cherish. These are the moments of any DIY project that make all the hard work worth it. Once most of the paint is scraped off, I'll use this standard scrub brush with some mineral spirits. This will help neutralize the chemical stripper and also help remove the paint in those hard to reach areas. It's also helpful to use a carbide scraper to continue removing the paint and other old finishes. You may have other doors in your home with traditional finishes like polyurethane, shellac, or lacquer. This door was manufactured in the early 2000s. The best finish remover that I've found for these finishes is Stripwell's QCS. It comes with the finish remover and the surface cleaner. Not only is it environmentally friendly, but it's much easier to use. You just spray it on, let it sit for about 30 minutes, then scrape off the finishes. You can use the surface cleanser and some fine steel wool to scrub off the remainder of the finish before wiping everything back with a shop rag. It's the safest and easiest finish remover I've ever used. For the painted doors, I'll use mineral spirits and a shop rag to remove as much of the remaining paint and chemicals as possible. This will help eliminate any chemicals before rinsing. Then I'll scrub the doors with a brush and some dish detergent before rinsing with a garden hose. This water is not harmful to the wood as long as the excess water is removed immediately and the doors are left to dry outside. Once dry, I'll use various scrapers and dental tools to remove the rest of the paint. These carbide scrapers are my favorite and are available for around $20 to $30. I use them on every project and they've lasted several years. This process can be tedious, but possible for most people. And it's at this point you may begin to understand why some professional refinishers charge as much as $100 an hour for labor. It's nearly impossible to remove all of the paint from these hard to reach areas, but some of it will be concealed with the stain choices. The amount of sanding that you do on each door will depend on the finishes that you choose. For these doors, I'll apply a traditional penetrating stain and will sand from 180 grit to 220 grit using various power sanders and hand sanding blocks. Although some of these more efficient sanders are expensive professional grade tools, most sanders at the hardware store for under $100 will also get the job done. This 5-inch orbital sander with the vacuum attachment works much faster on the large areas of this door. The 3x4 sander from Surf Prep is designed for sanding detailed profiles that you often find on doors and cabinets. These sponge-like pads are especially useful. They gently form to the profile of the door while sanding, helping to eliminate damage. Using these sand net sheets allows me to cut the right size sandpaper for all the various hand sanding blocks that I'll use throughout this project. Once I'm finished with the power tools, I'll finish sanding with these palm sanders that are designed to be used with traditional 5-inch discs. Long strides in the direction of the wood grain can help eliminate swirl marks left behind from an orbital sander. These doors are now sanded all the way to 220 grit, and now it's time to stain. You can remove most of the dust with an air hose or a soft brush. If you choose to stain your piece, there are hundreds of choices and different application methods. For these doors, I'm using a traditional penetrating stain. It was a pleasure to do this work with a friend who helped me with every step, and I refused to accept payment since this video was made possible by Fazebo. At some point in the middle of this project, I decided to do a small makeover to one side of my workshop. Fazebo offers a variety of affordable home office standing desks and ergonomic office chairs. This collaboration with Fazebo inspired a simple but much needed home office makeover, and with the leftover paint, I decided to move everything around and paint the shop wall. With Fazebo, I like that you can choose desk options based on styles, so I went straight to the mid-century modern styles and chose the L-shaped Ocanto desk. The dark walnut desktop and black frame helped add to the overall cozy theme for this space. I especially liked the adjustable LED lights that were included with this option. I also paired this beautiful desk with the comfortable ergonomic C2 series office chair. I spend almost as much time editing videos as I do on furniture restorations, so this height-adjustable desk has been a great addition, ensuring a modern, comfortable setup while I work. Take advantage of the best prices of the year with up to 60% off during Fazebo's Black Friday sale going on now. Use my code MADCITYBF to save $100 on this Ocanto standing desk. You can also use my code for 8% off all products on the Fazebo website. All these details will be listed in the video description, and thank you Fazebo for making this video possible. Applying a traditional penetrating stain with a foam brush is very easy. We worked in small sections and wiped off the excess stain with shop rags. If you wish for a darker color, you simply just leave the stain on a little longer or apply a second coat. We chose polyurethane for a more durable final finish, since these doors will be used in a house with small children. You can find a basic bristle brush for applying polyurethane in just about any hardware store. Poking a few holes in the top of the can will prevent any excess buildup. Thinning out this thick polyurethane with mineral spirits will slow down the dry time, making this polyurethane easier to apply, especially in warmer weather. I'll make sure the brush is soaked, then brush on the first coat slowly at a 30-degree angle. This will help eliminate the possibility for small air bubbles. Between coats, you can prevent your brushes from drying out by storing them in a Ziploc bag. And in these conditions, there will still be small air pockets in the coats of polyurethane. You can use a sanding block with fine sandpaper or a fine sanding sponge to smooth out these bubbles between coats. The hardware was certainly the part I dreaded the most for this project. There were so many pieces, and most of them were covered with paint. I did a few tests with this metallic paint because I knew there were some pieces that were going to have to be touched up. All of these pieces are magnetic, which means they're just plated steel. The best method I know for removing paint from old hardware is by mixing vinegar, water, and a little baking soda. Bring that to a boil with the hardware in the pot, and eventually most of the paint should flake right off. Any paint that still remains can gently be removed with wire brushes and dental tools. The next step for cleaning this hardware is applying Barkeeper's Friend. I'll gently scrub the hardware with a dishcloth, then rinse. This should yield dramatic results. There are many products for polishing metal, and I've used many. My favorite is Brasso. You simply apply a small amount to a microfiber cloth and gently polish the hardware. Here's a comparison next to another one of my favorite polishing products, Never Dull. The final step for the hardware is to protect it with this lacquer for brass. Without it, this hardware will quickly tarnish, sometimes within a few minutes. Unfortunately, the doorknobs, which received the most wear and tear, needed a little touch-up with paint to match the rest of the hardware. The final step for these doors before assembly is to protect the finish with a furniture wax. This not only adds additional protection, but gives these doors a nice smooth finish. I'll apply the wax with fine steel wool, then buff the dry wax with a shop rag. It was a pleasure to work on these doors with a friend, and I hope his family is delighted with the results. Thank you for allowing me to share something different with you in this video, and I'll plan to continue sharing my furniture restoration projects. Be sure you haven't missed several of my most recent restorations here. My name is Barry, and thanks for joining me. Goodbye for now.